Come on, Rex. You're not in very much of a hurry, are you? You got the memo. Sunday is not in a hurry Sunday. This way, though. Come on. This way. You're doing a great job not being in a hurry, but let's get this done. We gotta travel today. Go. Let's go. Yep. Thank you. Could it be time for Steve to get out the door before Rex? Yeah, right. I messed up the triple hop because I wanted to see if Steve would go out before Rex. Because in the history of time, that has never happened. And the time it took me to get the strings on the animals, that was about 4 minutes. DST, that's the atomic clock in Boulder, Colorado, telling us it's 9:12 a.m. Daylight Saving Time. Sunday, March 8th, 2026, 61 degrees indoors, 47 degrees outdoors. And why does it seem like we're all so tired and lazy and late today? Because we messed around with the clock last night. We're saving time now. We put the early daylight at the end of the day. I asked AI, now normally all of this is just TK without any AI, but I asked AI how many songs were written about time, and they said time is one of the most common themes in music. It is as old as time. And I said, well, why is that? And AI said, well, time is a universal, relatable human experience. Something we all can agree on? Well, not really. A lot of people don't like daylight saving time. And I always thought weather was a universal, relatable human experience that we could all agree on. But no, since climate change came along, we can't agree on that either. Well, there are expressions like watching grass grow and watching snow melt that have to do with trying to slow time down. And in the last cycle of the sun, which is what we use to keep track of time for the most part, we have lost about 1.5 feet of snow right here. And Steve is really intrigued as we watch snow melt and grass turn green before our eyes. It has not been this warm at this time in 128 sunrises. That is back to Halloween. It was the last time it was so warm at this hour in New England. So we have broken the back of winter. March coming in like a lion. And there goes our white walker. And our snow stake is falling over. It's got a crevasse in there now. The ice bucket's under there. And before you know it, our spring furniture is our winter furniture that's been covered in snow will be spring furniture, and we'll be putting cushions on it and laying out in the sun. But our garden has a long way to go here, and there's still a couple of feet of snow down there, but I think that will be gone. So raindrops are falling on my head. They keep on falling. A lot of songs about weather, too. The map this morning at first thing showed the temperatures throughout New England as warm as they've been since Halloween sunrise. And it's the cold spot, Warner, New Hampshire, decoupled a little bit at 33 degrees. So none of New England got down to freezing last night. And at midnight, it was still 41 degrees on top of Mount Washington after a high yesterday of 44, set a record for March 7th. 41 at midnight, set a record for March 8th. And the wind last night gusted to 100 miles an hour on top of Mount Washington, with the same front that has been causing severe weather for the last couple days. No reports of any tornadoes. Well, there was one EF0 in western Kentucky, I guess, yesterday. And it looks like the analysis from the Michigan tornado is going to come out as about an EF4, one of the worst tornadoes in about 50 years in Michigan. So that is frightening. We get a day off between severe weather. Today is not going to be much, maybe a little in North Carolina to the southeast with this front, and then it's going to reignite probably about Tuesday or Wednesday, so a couple days off from severe weather. And there are fronts on the map. We have a weak cold front right over New England right now. It's getting a little colder up in the sky. Mount Washington had been down to, what was it, about 37 degrees, but the base of the mountain was still 58 degrees. And here's the radar that front strung out with rain now from Cape Cod all the way down the East Coast with a weakening front, but it keeps us gray here in southern New England. T-Rex loves walking across that, don't you, right, T-Rex? So we're going to have the snow gone in pretty much all our yards in the next couple days, except for maybe the deepest spots like right there. I looked at the webcam in South Dennis, and it looks like we had ice out last night on Fallens Pond. So March 7th, 8th ice out is the latest since 2015. Yep. So we all know that. We mark time in our journal with events. And the event of today is I'm going to go north, and we're going to sleep in Vermont tonight. And we got word from Paul Moody this morning about the texture of the snow at Mount Mansfield, where it was a light broom because it was so warm last night. And he said it's like a sort of a hardened snow cone. It's carvable, but it's a little crunchy. So that's just that drier air coming into northern Vermont, but it'll be soft snow this afternoon and may set up a little bit tonight with some cooler air, but we're going to warm it up again. Let's look at the simplified forecast for New England using Nashua, New Hampshire. Nashua being right in the kind of middle of New England, demographically and almost geographically, except for northern Maine extends way up there. Northern Maine is its own world. But this is Nashua, and it shows 70 degrees. So we're going to have the first 60 and the first 70 of 2026 in the next 48 hours. Some spots will hit 60 today and tomorrow. Other spots will hit 70 to 75. Almost, I think, closer to 80 in Nashua, possibly late Tuesday. A lot of times when you get your first real warm spell, we underestimate how warm it's really going to be. But after that, you can see it kind of phases down. The temperature waves down in the temperature department toward the weekend, and then it comes back up early next week, and then it goes down. And the coldest weather of the next 2 weeks could be the day after St. Patrick's Day, where the guidance says 12 degrees in Nashua on March 18th. Oh my goodness. So yeah, there's some winter left in the tank, and we look to northwestern Canada, and you see the temperatures in northwestern Canada are still at 30 below zero, and it's even colder on the north side over the other side of Alaska. That'd be on the other side of the North Pole. There's another cold air mass in Siberia, kind of like the one we saw back in October when we said, watch out, winter is going to come in strong when it gets here, and it certainly did. And I guess, should I just skip over the short range? I think I am going to just skip over the short range because it's just so time-consuming. Tim with an E, T-I-M-E. And go to the purple blobs here on the GFS model. The purple blobs are the Arctic air, and you can see it kind of bottled up there in northern Alaska, northwestern Canada, and there's a lot of orange across the United States. That's record warmth in the southeastern United States. It's going to rebuild in the southwestern United States. And the Arctic air is going to take a little bit of a swoop at us here. Now we're going through Wednesday night. There's a front. Thursday, glancing blow of Arctic air coming in here. That's our next freeze Thursday night, Friday morning. And then that's going to gradually lift out over the weekend. There could be some snow on the backside of that Arctic plunge on the weekend. And then we have real warm air charging up the coast early next week, only be slammed down by the purple blob expanding rapidly out of south central Canada all the way down the Appalachian Trail to the southeastern United States. That could be Arctic front number 17 of, well, since December 1st. I would say the winter, but it's meteorological springtime. And that's now March 17th. That's St. Patrick's Day, wearing of the purple. And in the purple, there's some lighter color there that's even colder than the purple blob. The purple blob would be it's about 20 below Celsius at 850 millibars, up around the top of Mount Washington. We could get to 10 below zero again if this verifies. And again, the placement of that cold air is really a tough call. I'm watching Steve listen to a cardinal over there. Cardinal's toying with us, but because I have on my noise-canceling microphone, you can't hear the cardinal, can you? So let's go to just cut to the chase and go to the GFS. We don't have a lot of time, Tim. We got to get moving. Incidentally, one of my favorite websites, there's a couple of websites on time, and I digress. I'm going backwards. I know. Oh, trying to go forward. Not in a hurry Sunday, we call it. And there's a universal time in Greenwich, England that does not change, thank goodness. So we all relate to the universal time in Greenwich, England, which this morning at, what was it, 8:18 or something like that, I grabbed this. This is called time.gov, and it shows that 8:18 our time was 12:18 universal time. Zulu, universal coordinated time, Greenwich Mean Time is all, we narrowed it down because of the military to Zulu. And in our maps, we go by the Z in the upper left. And where yesterday it was a 5-hour difference, today it's a 4-hour difference. So I know I spend a lot of time on time. And there's another great website too, which is called timeanddate.com. And this one gives you the weather forecast. It gives you what the sky is doing, where the planets are, when the tides are high and low. It's just such a great website, timeanddate.com. All right, it's time for Tim to run the GFS, and the clock is in the upper left. And so here's the little bit of rain at the south coast of New England pushing out. Low pressures are tracking across Canada, and that's going to bring warmth back in, and you don't see any real severe weather or organized storms anywhere in the nation. We get a Monday off, and then the cold is starting to build in central Canada, and we have almost a backdoor cold front trying to come in with a strong high pressure system coming across central Canada. That's very cold air at low levels of the atmosphere. It's going to cool off on Tuesday night and Wednesday, and then here comes the mess. It has not adjusted very much. There's the clock in the upper left. You get to 0Z Thursday is actually 8 p.m. Wednesday, and the sleet and snow is mostly north of New England, and we're getting into a ripping southerly flow with a possibility of severe thunderstorms. It does not look as dramatic today as it did yesterday for 12Z Thursday, 8 a.m. Thursday, with a cold front coming through here. Marginal Arctic air and rain may end as snow just about anywhere in New England as that low takes off, and high pressure is building to our south. So when a cold high goes to your south, it does not stay cold for very long. So that's a glancing blow of cold for Friday. And then Saturday, here comes some waves lifting with the polar and the Arctic front lifting back north. But that is a stripe of snow for Friday night into Saturday in far northern New England. So more new snow and colder air and more midwinter skiing could be back here for next weekend. But then it undoes itself with another powerful storm and another major severe weather outbreak with thunderstorms and tornadoes here now on Monday the 16th, and that's crazy with rain changing back to snow again, possibly in New England, and we're going to stop it now on St. Patrick's Day, Tuesday, March 17th at 15Z. What time is that? 15 minus 4. It's 10 a.m. on St. Patrick's Day, and it shows snow, the blue, from Maine to Cape Cod, eastern Maine to Cape Cod. We may be having some wearing of the white on St. Patrick's Day here, thanks to that purple blob of Arctic air and the 510 Arctic front from about Plattsburgh, New York to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's the 510 line, and the polar front is pushed all the way to the southeastern United States, and that's about a 1035 high pressure system coming out of Manitoba into North Dakota that will have record cold with it. And storms coming in off the Pacific guarantees a wild mid-March here across the United States and New England. We're back on the wintry side of things at that point in time, way out there. But we know over time, with all these waves, so difficult to time coming out of the Pacific, coming from the North Pole, coming from Central America, that things get all confused. The farther out from the destination, the less likely you know how it's going to be when you get there. And 10 days is a far out destination in time. Where will we be in 10 days? Where will the fronts be in 10 days? I'm sorry, this has been kind of confused. I'm trying to deal with all this weather. A couple of animals. What is time? Cardinals are singing. Snow is melting. We have to hit the road because we're traveling north. We'll see you on the slopes, Paul Moody. And yesterday, just kind of calling the play-by-play on the cold air, which was so reluctant to give way here in southern New England. So after the cold front goes by, we're going to have winds from the west, and that's where we really warm it up, winds from the west. I don't think we're going to hit 80, but 70s this week before winter returns. All right, here's yesterday's weather today. More on time. 12:10. Got my Bruins Johnny Busick shirt on here. First time I've ever worn it. Dropped the ladies off halfway to the garden. I'm not going to Boston, but temperatures up through the 40s, and the snow is shrinking before our very eyes. And Bruins and Capitals. I'm told it's very important in the wild card department. And thinking of you, Dave.
Bye, Tim.
Bye. Have fun.
Thank you.
Look back through time at the snowstorms. We've had snow on the ground here since middle of December. Getting back our yards very slowly. I don't really show this part of Weymouth very often. It's called the Landing, and it's right where Weymouth meets Braintree, and all that new development over there has happened since I moved here 10 years ago. The Landing. A lot going on around here. 45 degrees at lunchtime. Abigail Adams' birthplace. Going over towards Burt's. Check for ice out. Could be ice out. Mud season at the boatyard. I don't know if I've been down here since the bomb cyclone blizzard. Have I? Defrost mode. Wow, this is gonna leave a lot of water laying around, isn't it? Am I gonna be able to make it down there? Get the boat owners here working on their boats. It's March after all. It's easier than coming in the van. I get this smaller car here. Yeah, still got some brackish water ice here surrounding the Wissagusset docks. Those will be here for another 8 weeks. Midday, March 7th. Mill Cove between Weymouth and Braintree. Some ducks. And 6 weeks ago I walked right out there. We're not going to do that again for 10 months, if that. The glacier is receding. Brighter over Boston. Bruins were in the lead 1-0, and then Washington just tied it back up, and Mitt jumped on the table, and we're looking at the morning guidance come in, and it is even warmer and more windy in today's morning guidance than it was last night. Oh, I don't like this trend at all. Watching my product at the same time, watching the Bees get another goal, up 2-1, second period. And, oh, it moves. Steve being a good bed cover. Bruins are up now, 2-1, Mitt. And the sun's trying to burn through the clouds over TD Bank North Garden. If that happens, we're going to be in the 50s as we watch the snow disappear before our very eyes on this pretty pleasant Saturday afternoon. Oh, nail biter right down to the end. And the sun did just come out. It's a good sign, right? Yep, that was a good sign. Sun came out. All good. Mitt approved. Fun game. You picked a good one. What is time? Well, currently it's 5 p.m. on Saturday, March 7th. But in 24 hours, it's going to be 6 p.m. on March 8th. Tricky. Time. What you make of it. And though not in a hurry Sunday, a lot to do. So it's a different door on our Monday, where it's lighter later. Lighter later in the day. Lighter later in the morning too. So it could be dark going out. Speaking of going out, what do you need, a special invitation? Oh, remember that rose I said I was going to take down? Right. Didn't happen. Very good. Another day in the books. Last day of standard time for a while. Ducks. And the sun came out in Vermont. It was in the 50s, even though on Cape Cod it was a gray St. Patrick's parade and 40 degrees. Frightening forecast going forward with the warmth and the cold battling it out. And we'll be here to call the play-by-play each day. None of the animals are here, so I'll just look over at TD Bank North Garden. Fun watching the Bruins heading into the playoffs. And at some point here, we'll have the Bruins and the Celtics and the Red Sox all playing. But for now, I just say time, T-I-M with an E. Time is change. Talk to you tomorrow, Lord willing. Bye-bye for now.